Hey guys, welcome back to the trailer. Yeah, so what had happened was I was living in a transitional home. It was also supposed to be kind of like a sober home, and there was a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of issues, and I called them out on it. I said that what they were doing didn't make any sense. They were basically saying that people could be caught with paraphernalia, like drug paraphernalia, in their room, but it wasn't considered proof. Like, are you sure? So then there was this instance where the program manager told me that the wedding that I went to in October, that was my best friend's wedding, was a witchcraft wedding because the bouquets had sage in them. Because the colors for the wedding were coral and sage. That is some reaching, right? Yeah, okay, that is grasping in the most literal sense, okay? And then there was another instance that was kind of like the breaking point for her, I guess. Was that she said that you could you could shoplift at Walmart, bring whatever it is back to the house, but it wasn't her problem. So you could boost a candy bar, sell the candy bar at the house on the property, but it wasn't her problem because the actual shoplifting incident happened off the property. Like, make that make sense. She was saying that basically somebody could shoplift off the property but not steal on the property. You could fight another resident off the property, but you can't fight a resident on the property. And I'm just like, I literally had another resident who worked at the same place I did that was trying to fight me. Like, it was on the camera. She was getting up in my face. She was threatening me. And this was like the day before Thanksgiving or something. And I'm just like, okay, but what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to fix this? What are you going to do? Because this was not the first instance of this girl trying to fight me. It made no sense. But because it happened at work off the property, there was nothing that could be done. So, like, make that make sense. I can't emphasize that enough. That is like the theme of this video. Make that make sense, because I can't. I can't. And I like had a breakdown over this whole thing because here I was getting evicted, kicked out of another place over something that wasn't really my fault. I mean, yeah, I could have like kept my thoughts to myself and just sat there and let hypocrisy happen and sat there and let another resident try to fight me, let another resident threaten me, you know, things like that. But my Dumbo self was like, no, I want to keep myself safe. Why? Because that worked. So Clover and I are now back in the trailer. This is Clover's first time in the trailer, but she's actually doing really well. There's lots of places for her to run and hide and jump and crawl and, you know, all of that. So she's really into it. It hasn't really been that cold, which is nice. I upgraded from peeing in gas station cups to peeing in a bucket with a lid, so that's cool. God, my life is tragic. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. I was working at a restaurant and I had to kind of take a leave of absence for the month of December, because I had another week-long stint in the mental hospital again. And I talked to my boss when I got back, and he said it wasn't a problem. Just whenever I'm ready to go back, I can go back, which is kind of cool. But man, this is getting obnoxious, and it's not for lack of trying. Like, my lack of housing is not for lack of trying. My lack of vehicle is not for lack of trying. Like, I kept making payments on my car, and the company said they didn't know where the money went, so that's cool. So I ended up losing my car, and everything's just kind of fallen apart. And I don't know, like, taking a month off from work is great, but like, I like being able to, like, you know, buy food and stuff, and I get $16 a month in food stamps. So that's cool. That's not even enough for me to make a sandwich. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, everything's just been falling apart. I mean, I get the opportunity to really think about what I want to do. I am coming up on my 30th birthday in February, and I'm able to kind of think about, like, do I want to go back to school? Do I want to move back to, like, Alaska? Not really sure. I just know that I don't want this because this is a lot to deal with. But I do also recognize that there are people out there who don't even have a trailer to stay in. They don't have heat. They don't have electricity. They don't have access to the internet. They don't have a phone. They don't have, all these different things that I feel like I'm kind of taking for granted. And I've seen comments on other videos where people are like, oh, why don't you sell this? And why don't you sell that? And, oh, you have these possessions that you could sell. But it's like, if you're in a rough spot and you're trying to make things better permanently, would you really want to take the time out of your day to sell something for a band-aid fix? I'm not looking for band-aid fixes, you know what I mean? I'm looking for like actual solutions to the problem. And I can almost guarantee that someone is going to be like, what about the ring you're wearing? You could sell that. This is actually 3 rings. The crown was a Walmart ring that was bought for me for my birthday this year, and this is my old wedding set from like 2011. So, and I've tried selling this thing, and the biggest offer I could ever get for the wedding set was like $80, and it was a $1,200 set. So I felt kind of like I was getting ripped off. Yeah, I'm not looking for band-aids. I'm sorry. I'm not. I understand that in the absolute worst case scenario, I could start selling things off, but as of right now, it's not that dire, and I just don't see the point in band-aid fixing something that needs a permanent solution. Like, I need to have permanent housing. I need to get a vehicle, even if it's just like a little scoot. Like, I need to actually fix the things that are wrong instead of constantly trying to just okay, it's good now, and then everything's still falling apart. That's not helpful. So there's your little update. I still need to go back to the house, get the rest of my things. I am considering pressing charges against the landlord because she gave me somewhere. She gave me this paper basically stating like the outline of what I had to do to continue to stay there, and then later in the day she just verbally came by and was like, this and this and that, you did this and you did that, none of which was even true. And she's like, you have to go. She's like, it's going to take like 3 weeks for it to go through the court system, but actually in the state of Colorado, you have to have a 28-day notice if you've been there for more than 6 months but less than a year, which was my case. 28 days notice, and then on that, the end of that is when you can actually, have the police escort them out, like actually evict them. So I was well within my rights to stay until the end of the month because this happened on December 2nd or 3rd, I believe. So just over like 10 days ago. And I was well within my rights to stay there, but do I really want to stay in a hostile situation? No. Like, there was a guy who had came over, which, first of all, this was supposed to be like a no peen zone. Like, there were supposed to be like no dudes on this property, and there was guys on the property all the time, including her son, who was like there every day to wash his truck. First of all, it is 8 degrees outside. You do not need to be washing your truck. And fifth of all, okay, you are using my water, you are raising my bills, and I do not appreciate that. I do not consent to you, a stranger, coming on my property, using up my water, raising up my bills, and contributing what to my situation? Nothing. So you can leave. Bye. Okay. So this guy had came over. They were tearing up the flooring in the back room because it was all like sinking in, and they were tearing it up or whatever. Well, this guy came over and he was supposed to be fixing the floor, but nobody told me, and I was the only person in the house. So this guy just like walks into my door, hi, hello, and I was like freaked out. I was putting stuff by the door, getting ready to leave. And so I grabbed Clover, I went in my room, closed the door. Well, now all of a sudden he's telling the house manager and the program manager that I was throwing things at him. Where is your proof? Where is the receipt? Okay, like, where is the damage done that he claims was done when I was throwing stuff? What did I throw? In which direction did it land? Like, the cops had even came to take me to the mental hospital again, and if anything had been thrown at that point, they could have addressed it. They could have been like, wow, this place is tore, but it's not. Like, nothing was damaged, nothing was thrown. And the fact that this guy is really trying to put my name in his mouth and say things about me, disrespectful, do not appreciate, goodbye, okay? And they're like, well, he was gonna press charges on you. For what? Like, you can't press charges on somebody for something that never happened. And this isn't like a gaslighting situation. This is like a straight up, this did not happen, okay? But I could turn around and sue him for slander because he's sitting here telling everybody how I was throwing stuff at him. Where is your proof? Where's the proof? And I'm over it. I'm over the behavior of the person who runs the house. I'm over the behavior of the people in the house. I'm over the behavior of the people that she hires to fix the house that's not even up to code, okay? Like, you shouldn't have holes in your floor from like mold and like water damage and this and that. Like, it's mind-boggling. Like, that should not be a thing, right? So at this point, I'm considering my legal options if it comes to a point where I have to execute these issues with the police, because if she's not going to allow me to get my stuff, obviously it's going to be a problem. Like, I'm not going to have a Cheryl part 2. Like, I can't. I can't. And I know what my rights are. And I've already talked to the cops out here, and they said, if you need anything, let us know. Like, we're on your side. We're here to help you. So if I need to call for a civil assist, I'm going to call for a civil assist, because I just can't with this. This is garbage. This is the absolute definition of buffoonery. Like, actual buffoonery. Because this should not be happening. This should not be a thing. Yet here we are. And it's like, I feel like she had a problem with me from day one because I wasn't in the system. I wasn't in trouble. I was just homeless and needed a place to stay. That wasn't the shelter. So she had a problem with that, I guess. I don't know. She had a problem with me calling out hypocrisy that didn't make no sense. And she's like, you're illogical. You're illogical. Everything I said, you're illogical. So you're telling me that I'm illogical, but you're saying that somebody could jump, like a resident could jump another resident as long as it's on the other side of the street, but there's no repercussions because it didn't happen on the property. I can't. Like, I can't. I have been sitting here for days and days and days trying to make this make sense, and I can't. It's literally breaking my brain at this point. So I'm gonna go. Hopefully this will upload correctly. My internet out here is garbage, as you all know. So we're gonna see what happens, but there's a little update. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for the people who have reached out. Unfortunately, due to my circumstances, I am not currently able to respond to everybody and to get to everything because my life is falling apart, okay? I don't have time to respond to every single email, every single like Instagram message or whatever, because I need to focus on myself, like, in the most literal sense. Need to focus on myself. I am the most important thing in this situation, and I sound like a greedy cow, but guess what? Okay, I'm gonna be a greedy cow because I need to. I am pushing 30 and I'm still dealing with stuff that an 18-year-old would deal with. Okay, I am still dealing with stuff that a 14-year-old would deal with. Like, make it make sense, Barbara. Okay, like, I can't. Ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you soon.